kill me.
Hello everybody, Martial Arts Film Freak here, and a few weeks ago, I did a video on 5 professional wrestlers who have been in martial arts movies, and I wanted to keep that going because I had some fun with it, but this time I'm switching it up. We're not talking about wrestlers, even though I can do another video on that. There's more wrestlers in martial arts movies. No, this time, of course, you clicked on it, you saw the title, probably the thumbnail too if I did a good enough job on it. We are talking about 5 MMA fighters who have been in martial arts movies. Now, again, this is a video that could have a sequel. There have been definitely more than 5 MMA fighters who have done martial arts movies, but I just want to talk about 5 good ones. And by 5 good ones, I mean 2 of them are good, and 3 of them may have been mistakes. Well, that's mean. I guess not all 3 of them. But you can't have the good without the bad, so of course, I had to have a little bit of both in here. Let's get straight to it. Let's discuss 5 MMA fighters who have been in martial arts movies. Number 5, Lyoto Machida. From Japan and K1 kickboxing to UFC light heavyweight gold, Lyoto Machida was one of my favorite fighters as a teenager. He's been in the ring with the best, he's been in the cage with the best, and he's beaten the best. Except for this guy, that asshole. His natural blend of traditional karate into his mixed martial arts perfectly captured my imagination as a teenager. His front kick KO of was Randy Couture. I almost said Randy Orton because I like wrestling more than mixed martial arts. I'm sorry. And his knockout of Rashad Evans, just the first time I saw those when I'm like, I don't even know, 13 years old, it was gorgeous. So of course, I was happy to see him pop up in my world of martial arts cinema alongside Michael Jai White in Never Back Down 2. Now, Never Back Down 2 is a bad movie. I do like a few parts. There are a few parts that I look at and I'm like, that's pretty nice. That would be really nice in a better movie. But we get what we get. And the third movie is actually quite good, and I like it a lot. But no, Lyoto Machida pops up in the second movie, the horrible second movie, and he really doesn't actually have a fight. So this is why he's number 5 here. These aren't like ranked or anything. He's just number 5 because it wasn't a fight scene. He pretty much pops up for this scene with Michael Jai White where they're just kind of like doing a kata together because they both know the same style, which if you actually look at it, it's a very, very pretty scene. It's very nice. If you love karate, if you love, traditional martial arts, you probably look at that and you really, really appreciate it. It's just not a fight scene, so it's number 5. Number 4, Anderson Silva. Now, if you want to talk about my favorite fighters, the answer here is Anderson Silva. Yes, I'm a basic bitch. Anderson Silva is the shit. Anderson Silva was the shit. He is old now, you know what I mean. Knocked out by Chris Weidman, then broke his leg on Chris Weidman, went in for the rematch. It sucks, and it broke my heart. Seriously, it's one of the most devastating times of watching anything was watching Anderson Silva get knocked out by Chris Weidman. He was genuinely, like, you look at somebody in a sport and you're like, this is God. I watched God die. But could you blame me for looking at this man and thinking he was God? He pretty much made every fight look like he was an actual character in a martial arts movie. He looked like Neo. He looked like Spider-Man. He looked like, I don't know, Wong Fei Hung. He looked like all the best because he simply was the best. Did you see him knock out, I don't know, everybody? Did you see him choke out, he choked out Dan Henderson? Did you see him knock out TKO, I guess, on, I believe it was Vitor Belfort? Did you see him knock out, I'm blanking on his name right now, Forrest Griffin? Many more. His knockout of Rich Franklin. A lot of those early ones. His knockout of Chris Lieben. His few trips up to light heavyweight where he was still dominant. And if he could have, oh my God, if he could have gotten up and been the light heavyweight champion and the middleweight champion, I would have been so happy. As I said, the man made every fight look like he was in an actual martial arts movie, so I was very happy to see that he was going to be in a martial arts movie, and alongside Max Zhang. Do you know how I feel about that? Do you know how awesome that is? Max Zhang is one of the best guys working today. From Master Z, Ip Man Legacy to, The Legend is Born, Wong Fei Hung movie, to several other films that I can't think of right now because this is about Anderson Silva and not Max Zhang. But essentially, I'm getting the best MMA fighter of all time. Pound for pound, undisputed. Anderson Silva was God against one of the best kung fu guys right now. And they're going to clash. And all I could think was, hot damn! And unfortunately, I heard it was bad. I heard it was horrible. And because of that, I've never seen it. Although up until earlier today, I did decide to go ahead and watch their fight scene because I have just heard nothing but this is genuinely awful. It should have been good, and it is wholly dreadful. So I watched that fight scene, and I gotta say,
it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
It's bad. It's a horrible mess. I don't know what they were going for. I don't know if it was badly choreographed because Anderson Silva looked bad fighting on screen. I don't know if they were going for like a Donnie Yen style, like Flashpoint kind of thing, and then it eventually just turned into a whole lot of green screen, and it looked like a bad Rush Hour ripoff. It was just bad.
Not even the hard dried up dog shit for 7 days. It's the soft dog shit. Is like baby shit.
Number 3, George St-Pierre. Again, George St-Pierre, one of the absolute greatest MMA fighters, UFC champions of all time. While Anderson Silva may have the record for the most title defenses at middleweight, at least George St-Pierre did get to hold 2 belts in the, I believe it was the lightweight title and the middleweight title. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. He was pretty much on top long enough. I know he had some spurts there from like early retiring or something like that and leaving and come back and whatever. He pretty much took on the best that he could for 2 different eras, 2 different generations of UFC, and he beat both of them. BJ Penn couldn't do it. Johnny Hendricks couldn't do it. Michael Bisping couldn't do it. Nick Diaz couldn't do it. So many more people. Jake Shields couldn't do it. Josh Koscheck, I think I already said, couldn't do it. Jason Miller couldn't do it. Frank Trigg couldn't do it. You look up his record, there's seriously like 2 losses on here. Maybe 3? No, it's 2. At least on Wikipedia. And I know I should go to like Sherdog or something. I'm sorry, MMA nerds. Yeah, Matt Hughes beat him once, and of course everyone knows Matt Serra beat him once. It was kind of a glorious moment. It was pretty dope. And then they had rematches, and George St-Pierre just destroyed them both. Because that's what George St-Pierre does. He just wins. And what do you do when you're just done winning all the time? You head over to Hollywood, you start being in movies. And of course he was Batroc the Leaper in The Winter Soldier fighting Captain America. I actually thought that was pretty dope. And then he returned as Batroc in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But no, I want to talk about his foray into martial arts movies. He was in a movie that again is just not good. And that is Kickboxer Vengeance. He was in the reboot of Kickboxer. He's got a fight scene at the beginning and he sticks around as like a training partner throughout the whole movie. And I think he's a comedy character, but he's not very funny, and his fight scene's not very good, although that's probably not his fault. He's probably pretty good in it, but the whole fight scene just looks bad. It's shot poorly, because that whole movie was shot poorly, unfortunately. And, you know, I do like him. I would like to see him do other martial arts movies, because I do believe he could be good in them. I do believe that he is smart enough to be able to adapt his talents to the screen if he so chooses, but maybe he had a bad experience on Kickboxer, so he doesn't want to, although he did return for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so we can keep our hopes up. But unfortunately, his one foray that I can think of, maybe he's done more, but the one I think of is not good. Number 2, Andrei Arlovski. From UFC champion to journeyman, and I don't mean that in a rude way, I mean it with the utmost respect, because this man's great. Andrei Arlovski is amazing. He's been around since the early 2000s. He captured gold in the early 2000s. He is still going today, I'm pretty sure. If not, he just retired recently. I don't remember. But he has been around just for so long. He has fought everywhere you can fight. He's fought in freaking Affliction, and of course UFC champion, been in Japan, been in Europe. He's done everything there is to do. He has been everywhere. He's a scary son of a bitch. So what do you do with a scary son of a bitch? You make him a superhuman. You put him in Universal Soldier, Regeneration as a Unisoul, where he doesn't get to do a lot. He gets to do a little bit. But what I want to talk about is his return to the Universal Soldier world in Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning against Scott Adkins. I feel like Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning is a Scott Adkins movie that doesn't get as much respect as his best stuff, but I stick up for it all the time. I think it's good. I like the science fiction of it. I like the twists, the turns, the darkness, and I love Andrei Arlovski. Andrei Arlovski versus Scott Adkins is one of Scott Adkins' earliest, most memorable, best fight scenes. They have this all-out brawl in a sporting goods store, which also tells a wonderful story of Scott Adkins' character sort of discovering that he's also a Unisoul, that he's also a super soldier. So as they're fighting and he's beating the shit out of Scott Adkins is also realizing as he lands heavy punches, oh, I think I'm special too. I think I have superpowers. And once he fully realizes that he also is a superhuman strong son of a bitch, they start beating the crap out of each other, and they start picking up baseball bats and they're flinging them around like they're swords, which makes me very happy. That just, that's nice. And of course, that ending is, it's a good one. If you're squeamish, look away right now because I'm about to play it and it's pretty brutal. So here we go.
That was diabolical.
And number 1, Michael Bisping. Michael Bisping had a storybook career. Michael Bisping was potentially a journeyman fighter, one of those guys who never quite achieves that top spot, but really floats in there as, a guy you can always count on for a good fight. He did win The Ultimate Fighter Season 3, but when he was actually in the UFC, but after that, he just kind of won and lost and won and won and won and lost and won and lost, but never actually reached the top until a handful of years ago. He did win the middleweight title. I'm pretty sure he also did it with one eye. Because, a guy on drugs, pretty much steroids, not steroids, testosterone replacement therapy, I'm pretty sure. I thought I left my door open. Yes, a guy on testosterone replacement therapy that's now banned in the UFC kicked him in the head so hard that it dislodged one of his eyeballs pretty much, and now he only has one eye. And then I think he went on with one eye to win a championship, although I could be wrong. That I don't know if which one came first, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So, you already got to be like a bad son of a bitch to, win a championship in over a bunch of guys who are also great fighters, but then also to do it with one eye. Don't want to mess with Michael Bisping. And while Michael Bisping was never really my favorite fighter, I always appreciated him. I never really got behind him that much, wasn't my guy. I was happy to see him in Triple Threat in an absolutely stacked cast, including Tony Jaa, Iko Uwais, Tiger Chen, Michael Jai White, and Scott Adkins, and of course a little bit of Zhizha Yan, and she's not in there that much, but a little bit. Also Ron Smorenberg is in there that much less. And much to my chagrin, much to my surprise, Michael Bisping might have my favorite fight of the entire movie. The film is chock full of fun with Iko Uwais versus Michael Jai White and Tony Jaa versus Scott Adkins, which is an absolute dream battle, for the love of God. And they're going to go ahead and also throw in, surprise, Michael Bisping versus Tiger Chen. Something that if you'd have asked most martial arts fans, most martial arts, not martial arts sport, martial arts movie nerds, we would not have said, hey, you see that Tiger Chen guy you got there? Yeah, he was real good in Man of Tai Chi. If you could also throw him in there with Michael Bisping, that'd be great. Nobody was asking for that. I wasn't asking for that. Were you asking for that? Because I don't think you were. But just like Tony Jaa versus Dolph Lundgren, something we didn't ask for, but you know what? It delivered so hard, it packed the whole show up and stole it. Michael Bisping versus Tiger Chen may be the best fight in the whole movie, and that's seriously saying something in a roster full of incredible talent. And of course, it has one of my favorite endings of a fight scene, pretty much my favorite ending to a fight scene in that movie, and a fantastic slow-mo shot. Great choice by director Jesse V. Johnson, who, he's also, I think he's also British, so maybe they had a bit of a connection there. I don't know. So is Scott Adkins. Lots of British people in this movie. But there is a fantastic shot of when Michael Bisping loses, which is just a cylinder, blanking on my freaking words here. cylinder, cinder block. Cinder block smashed against Michael Bisping's head. Right on impact, it goes slow motion, and it just looks epic. So there you go. There you have it. Those are 5 MMA fighters, hell, 5 UFC champions who have been in martial arts movies. Yes, I know that there are tap-out movies produced by tap-out, full of MMA fighters and UFC stars, and I don't want to talk about those. Maybe I will one day in discussing like how they rank as martial arts movies. I've never actually seen them because I would see them on the shelf at my movie rental store of choice, and I always looked at them and thought, you look bad. But of course, there are many more MMA fighters who have done martial arts movies, hell, TV shows with martial arts in them. And I'll be happy to talk about them if you ever want me to. So tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Which of these 5 is your favorite? Which one had the best fight scenes? And which one disappointed you the most? Tell me those things in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to Facebook. There is the Martial Arts Film Freak Facebook page. Instagram, Martial Arts Film Freak. Tristan_Glover on the Twitter. And Martial Arts Film Freak on TikTok. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.